The evolution of the natural deal care category and its growth across Australia is more and more families looking for chemical-free alternatives for everyday products, especially those that go in the mouth. Joining us now to discuss this is Tammy Seligmann, General Manager of Grants of Australia. Thank you so much for your time, Tammy.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, talk to us about the origins of what you're doing.
So we've been making toothpaste since the early 80s. My parents actually started Grants of Australia, which is actually named after the street that we use, Grant Street. When first started back in the late 70s, they first started putting fluoride in the water supply in Melbourne. Before then, fluoride in the water supply. Mm-hmm. They were a little bit concerned about myself and my brothers, who were just kids at the time, that we were drinking the water, and we were also ingesting our toothpaste when we brushed our teeth. So they tried to, and they had a health food store at the time. They had a health food store in Paran, and they also had another one in South Melbourne. And they were looking for a toothpaste that would be suitable for us to use, for us kids to use, that we would, and at the time there was nothing around. There was a few fluoride-free toothpastes, but they didn't taste particularly nice. So they decided that they would like to try and make their own toothpaste that was fluoride-free, that also tasted good enough for the kids to use. So that's
Obviously,
how we started. That was how we started off.
Yeah, obviously fluoride is important for something, the idea of trying to maintain our teeth, etc. What do you guys do that, I guess, brings the benefits of what fluoride was meant to bring as a benefit without having fluoride?
So toothpaste itself has an ingredient called calcium carbonate in it, which actually helps to clean the teeth, to clean all the plaque off the teeth. We also use other ingredients, including xylitol, which actually helps to fight the bacteria in the mouth. And that's also one of the ingredients you can use that will also, do some of the job of fluoride. But there's also fluoride in our water supply in Melbourne and in most of Australia. So that's, the whole idea was that you've already got fluoride in the water supply. So do you need extra fluoride in the toothpaste as well? And I mean, we're not anti-fluoride at all. We've actually got a new product that contains fluoride. So we're not an anti-fluoride company. We just, we're all about advocating choice.
It's such a good point, isn't it, that you're trying to come up with a choice, because a lot of people were very conspiracy theory about fluoride back in the day, much like we've seen over the weekend with 5G there too. And it's probably not a space you want to be in, where you're just dealing with people who are anti things, when what you're trying to do is to be kind of health conscious about these things, right? But still to provide an alternative to chemicals.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, with fluoride in the water, there isn't a choice at all. That's just in your water supply. So with the toothpaste, that you do have that choice. You can choose to buy it or not. It's up to you. We've never been one way or the other. It's really just about having that choice, and that's really important for consumers.
So long in the tooth and short on chemical nasties. It's a homegrown health product. Just talk to us about how you've developed it, because what started off, as you mentioned, as a way to overcome fluoride has now really grown, hasn't it? Talk about that growth.
Yeah, so I think over the years, as we've evolved as a company, and as I mentioned earlier, my parents did start this when they were in the health food industry. They had a health food store, and they spoke to their customers all the time. They got a lot of feedback from different customers about, oh, what about this ingredient, that ingredient? So initially it was just fluoride free, and then over the years they said, oh, well, people don't want SLS in the toothpaste, and we'll look at the ingredient SLS. That's not really great. That's not a great ingredient to have in a toothpaste, so we'll replace that with something else. And we'll back in the day, a lot of toothpaste had an ingredient called mineral oil. So they initially had that ingredient in their toothpaste, and then thought, no, that's actually not. That shouldn't be in a product that goes in the mouth. We'll take that product out as well. Parabens, we'll remove that as well. So over the years, the product did evolve to become not just a fluoride-free toothpaste, but a natural toothpaste. So only using natural ingredients and not using a lot of those other chemical nasties that you do find in other mainstream toothpaste, like I said, mineral oil, SLS, triclosan, titanium dioxide, those type of ingredients. We've taken all of those things out, and with some of them we have, and some of them we've got natural alternatives. So preservatives, we don't have any preservatives in our toothpaste, whereas that is present in most mainstream toothpaste as well. So that's how we've evolved the toothpaste over the years. And then more so in recent years, as the natural products industry has just grown and grown, and people are looking at, oh, I actually want those things. I don't want, I don't want SLS, or I don't want preservatives in my toothpaste that I'm using, but my water supply doesn't have fluoride in it, or I actually do believe fluoride's important for my dental health, but I don't want those other things. And that's how we've come to the point now where we've been able to offer, the next alternative, whereas to have the fluoride but also none of the other nasties.
What do you think about the rush at the moment towards things like charcoal and this real, let's make our teeth whiter through toothpaste brigade that we're all seeing at the moment?
Yeah. Well, I mean, people have always wanted whiter teeth, I guess. That's not whitening isn't a new category at all. And especially, I think the whole Instagram influencer has really helped with that as well. So a lot of people get their teeth chemically whitened. It's a huge thing. It's a huge area. So charcoal is just another fad, I guess. I don't know. I mean, it could be a fad, maybe a fad. I'm not quite sure. It's been around for a couple of years. Probably lost a little bit of its initial buzz, but whitening's here to stay. I think everyone's really keen to keep their teeth white. As long as we have Instagram, we'll have teeth whitening, I think.
And the idea of natural toothpaste as well becoming more and more popular with families around Australia too. Does natural have does it need a bit of a zhuzh in terms of its marketing strategy at the moment? Everyone's promising that everything's sugar-free these days, et cetera, and I feel like a lot of us see the word natural and we think, yeah, but what are you replacing it with? Because we're learning about that, aren't we, with diet products and things that, while it sounds great, there are other nasties that are being shoved in there that we all become a little bit wary of the term.
Yeah, look, it's always a choice, and the consumer needs to make the choice and do their research at the end of the day. And I think also the company need to also put your trust in a company that you can be authentic. So, anyone can say anything, and there are a lot of big brands now that are claiming all sorts of things. I mean, we're a very small brand. We're an Australian owned family, so that's not very common these days. So it's really just up to the consumer to do their research and make choices. And no one's going to be perfect. You're never going to have the perfect, oh, this has got everything I want and I can be trace supply chain and everything. That's never going to be the case. So there's always going to be slightly a trade-off, or you have to just make the decision. I'm okay. I can accept this. I can accept that. I can't accept this. But if you're doing good, 90% of if I think it's the whole thing. If 90% of people are doing good, then it doesn't. You don't have to go the whole hog. I don't believe. I think it's just about balance.
Tammy, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for having me.